how will history view Slot essentially, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now. I think a lot of Slot's achievements will be viewed through the lens of what happens in the next 2 seasons with the new coach. If in the next 2 seasons, and I say 2 seasons because 1 season is not enough to give a coach like so next 2 seasons, it will tell like whether Slot was actually right, he did what he could with whatever was given to him, or it was actually his point in not being able to, make the team more enthusiastic and play on the field and all those things. So I think the next 2 years are crucial to his legacy, essentially, to ensure like how things were done.
Right now, Jurgen Klopp take us from like doubters to believers, and Slot take us back from believers to doubters. Now we are, I won't say even doubters, we are in that state. So I think they are looking for some manager who comes and do some kind of, within 2 years, some kind of belief in the team where we started known as the Liverpool way of playing. But he cannot be a title challenging or title winning team. He cannot take Liverpool to a Premier League title. Because these guys wins you the game, but it will not win you championship.
Welcome to another episode of Giant Clean Sheet. This is me, Sheik. With me is Jins and JD today. This is recording on June 1st after the news, bombshell news over the weekend, an unexpected one with Slot departing the head coach role from our beloved club. So for me, at least, it was unexpected. So we will be doing a deep dive on what happened with Slot and hearing about the appointment of Iraola from all the journalists. So we'll discuss about that as well. So before we start the podcast, like always, do the thing you do with YouTube, like, subscribe, and comment. It will help us greatly and give us more encouragement to do more contents like that. And do share your views on the comments on what we are doing right and what we want to see more, especially with the World Cup coming up and the new season is going to start with the transfer market and things like that. So yeah, do all those things. And I'll just put our channel here somewhere so that you could subscribe. Thanks. So let's get started. So why was Lodge sacked when the report said otherwise? So we all saw the press conference, I think, against Villa when he said like he's going to stay, and most of the journalists, James Pierce, David Ornstein, all said like Liverpool, unless something drastic happens, like if we don't qualify for the Champions League slot, will continue to be our coach. But again, the dismissal felt all of it was very sudden to all of us, at least for me. Yeah, the conspiracy theory that is being floated around is like the Konate's departure plus Liverpool not signing a replacement may have triggered a breakdown in trust, and Slot perhaps unwilling to go through another season without proper squad investment, and that could have caused friction between him and. So the thing is, like, yeah, that would have happened, and the discussion between Slot and Hughes would have broken down because of that. Like, I also think that Anthony Gordon signing for Barcelona when Slot would have expected Gordon to be signed for us or something like that. That would have triggered or had a heated discussion with Hughes saying that he cannot go through another season with an unbalanced squad, and that would have led through Hughes losing trust on Slot. And when they had the meeting on Saturday, they decided, okay, let's get rid of Slot. And also with the fact that Iraola being available, and they wouldn't have a better opportunity to appoint another coach, and they didn't want to go through another season like they did with Brendan Rodgers, like sacking him in October. So instead, they thought like, okay, let's get rid of Slot and bring someone new. So that's the theory. That's one theory, and that's what I think happened. We all thought Slot was going to stay, but we saw what Jins had to say in Instagram. Yeah, we have another Instagram page as well. So if you can go and subscribe that as well, follow us over there. And JD, let's start with you. So what was your immediate reaction when you saw the news that Slot was let go of his job?
One word, shocked. And the shock part was not from Slot being sacked. The shock was stemming from how he was sacked.
Yeah.
Because the reliability of journalists that are there, and even when, and Slot, credit where credit is due. Slot is usually very to the point person. He will speak in point. And all of his press conferences and everything pointed to the fact, or hinted to the fact at least, that he was going to stay, and all the rumors surrounding like the support stuff coming and everything pointed to the fact. Good or bad is a different issue that has been debated in length. That's a different issue. But we rarely do these kind of sackings, if you will, let me put it that way. I don't know if it was mutual break of trust or a mutual decision to part ways, but we rarely do that. And the other thing is like, whatever would have transpired for the last season, everything, he was our coach for the 20th title. So he deserved, I think, at least some respect in having to say goodbye and everything. And once again, credit where credit is due. I did read that open letter that he sent out, I think, in Liverpool or somewhere. It's a fantastic letter. I mean, he could not have been more generous or more forthcoming in what has happened and everything. Wishing the club and the supporters nothing but the best. So nothing. So it was really shocking. I mean, it probably would have been worse if the sacking would have come in October or something, which was where it was headed. But this was unexpected, suddenly, like all of a sudden, like, and all those things. And yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's my initial reaction to this.
Okay. So having said all those things, yeah, like you said, like he handled a lot of things through this season. So this season, I believe was sacking wasn't one single reason. I still thought like he was going to be supported probably another window. And like you said, like an assistant coach was coming in, all the news were pointing to him joining, reading news that he already said his goodbyes and he was very sure that he was going to join Liverpool and Arne slot. Yeah, so it looked all of a sudden. I think the first thing, like you said, I was shocked and surprised, but I could see why club acted in that way because it led to a lot of factors, right? So Liverpool kind of became, what do you call a vanilla team, like it's just a plain team with no clear identity or strength. The heavy metal energy of Klopp faded this season. It was there in the first season he won, and the club kind of became emotionally attached to a certain brand of football, and the loss of that romance was damaging, arguably more so than the results themselves, right? And deeply problematic squad. Key players were either leaving, Salah and Robertson are either declining, injured, psychologically affected by the death of Diogo Jota.
Sorry to interrupt. One thing, Sheik, I think you said a very important point. Like, it's not about the heavy metal football or those kind of things. I think people stay attached to a club because of certain characteristics and certain traits. With the time when we were growing up and we started following Liverpool and everything, we were winning
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
We're not winning it. Like
Right.
whole Champions League night and everything. So it's not
Correct.
always about winning stuff or winning games. It's about character and everything. That's why people support clubs and everything. I think what you said was very true. That identity was lost, what the club was and everything. That was a pivotal point in this one. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. I was just summarizing the summer. I think last podcast, Jins mentioned the summer rebuild was very stunted. Preseason got affected by the death of Diogo Jota, and Slot was not helped in the January window as well by signing anybody who could fix this. I think if the same position like Pep Guardiola was in, you would know that City would spend like $100 or $200 million just to get some success for the season. That did not happen with Slot, despite he had a lot of mitigating circumstances. But again, when you do a season review, Slot could not, point to one thing and say like, I did this, right? So the position play was bad, the defensive structure was bad, set pieces was bad, squad morale was bad, his press conferences were bad, the support from Anfield was eroding, and it became toxic. So not one single thing he could hang on to. So despite all these things, Jins, what did you make of Slot, and what legacy his 2-year tenure in Liverpool will he leave behind? So when we look back at this time, in 5 years' time, let's say, or 10 years' time, what would you say about this period?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was most of a roller coaster ride. The first season, as JD said, whatever happens, not 10 years, maybe 10, 50, after 50 years, he win the 20th title. That's gonna stay there with Slot all the time. So no one can erase it. I'm sure like 100% of fans did not expect us to win the league last time because Klopp was leaving and we were like, okay, what's next? But Slot came in and it was a smooth transition and we won the league. So whatever the legacy, he's a Premier League champion, he wins the league, so he will be there with us. He won't reach like much heights like Klopp did, but he will be there. So he's leaving a big legacy with a Premier League. And I was shocked when Sheik you started it might be Slot is the one who said, okay, I want to quit. I don't think that's what happened, because all
I didn't say he wasn't good, but the discussion with Hughes would have, become heated, and Hughes would have thought, okay, well, he's probably questioning my job, and that's why we have to get rid of him.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that aspect, but I think all the reporters, including Fabrizio, was saying Slot's job is not safe, and there will be a year-end review.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what
the main the Joyce, Ornsteins, and the PSs, they said like Slot is going to continue. Even in the press conference against the Villa game, our penultimate game, Slot said he expects to continue next season and fix the things, right? So
yeah, no, I think see, even they were getting the Feyenoord manager to support Slot, right? I think this happens maybe 5 or 6 games like before. But I think when they took the entire year review, right, towards last 5-6 games, it's just opposite of what Liverpool is for, right? I always felt like as legacy, the slot is like he wins the league, but I always felt like a manager he never connected to the fans, he never connected to the Liverpool community, and he never connected to the academy. So I think these are major things, and I think his family was never relocated to Liverpool. So it was kind of a temporary stay for him. Whenever he get a chance, he used to go like a common place, or he used to go to Netherlands. But I think mostly the issue is like he could not bring anyone from the academy. So I think that was the red flag. Maybe see the academy is all for the players to push it into the senior level.
First team, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that a Slot is he's not interested to go there. He's not interested to watch their game. So he was not fully committed to his job. So he was taking it very passive. So I think that might also have
played a factor.
Yeah. I think result might be the last one. With the result, I'm sure he would have continued. Then comes the secondary issue of performance. Okay, towards the end, what happened? Even the Brentford game, it was like a big send off of Salah and Robertson, but we didn't feel. I didn't feel it. I could not feel it. It was just like another game where I was thinking, okay, let's get that 1 point to secure the Champions League position. So something happens, and also the crowd. Forget about us, right? The online fans. Forget about us. But the match goers, Anfield, they lost the trust. And in one way, what they're thinking, if I go to the next season with Slot and if I spent on all his demands of another 200, 300 million, and then in October, if you have to, sack them, that is like 800 million. We already spent like 500 last season. So like what United did mistake with Ten Hag, I think they don't want to do the same thing with the Brendan Rodgers. Yeah. So I think it was like shocked, shocked, but unexpected, not fully. Like it was because no one was saying that Slot is completely safe. They keep saying it, okay, maybe or may not be. So
my only point is, I mean, once again, all the my only point is probably, I mean, since he was a 20th title manager, maybe he could have been given a better send off. That's my only thing. He deserves respect. I mean, he handled some things very gracefully. Some things like there is no
right. I think his calm personality was perfect for the first season, right? Like that's what kind of won us the title, but the same calmness became a liability in the second season. So, and I think they felt we need injection of energy and some direction, and they thought like Slot is not the guy to provide that, and probably they let go of him. So yeah.
But one thought over here, doesn't it bring into question what the sporting director or the sporting management would have done? And my reasoning for that is, and I'm sure they would have done a lot of vetting of multiple coaches to arrive at a conclusion like this is the best person to lead us forward. And once again, it is very difficult to find personalities like Jurgen Klopp. They are once in a lifetime people, so it's very difficult. So you need someone to balance that out. And Slot initially, all of us, we thought was the perfect foil to Jurgen Klopp's fire. Right, he's calm, collected, like less chaos, more control, all those kind of things. But like, if you are making the person head coach, wouldn't you want to buy into his philosophy and supply him with the players that he would want, or just keep throwing players at him? Like, doesn't it bring into question the director as well, the sporting director, and all those people? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
1 year, 2 year, that is not how you build a dynasty, or that is not how you build long-term success in the club. That is short-term reactions. I don't know. That brings those questions.
No, yeah. So look, I think we all called for sacking Slot in November itself when he lost against PSV and Nottingham Forest back to back. Right. So the club gave him enough time to fix this. He was reluctant to bring anyone from the academy. In spite of all those injury issues, he still kept picking up players who were underperforming, right? So people would see it, right? So what happened? I think in January we sacked our set piece coach called Adam Briggs or something like that. We don't even know that guy existed, but they need to find some scapegoat for all this set piece chaos we were having, right? We already conceded 13 goals from corners before January, and so they had to, find a scapegoat and get rid of him, and that's what they did with that guy. And I think the same thing happened with Slot. They need to find some kind of a scapegoat for this season, and they had to sack Slot. I think that's what Hughes did. I mean, I think the damage they had done with the season probably felt irreversible to them. And this not signing, letting Konate go probably may have triggered a breakdown in trust. Yeah, so with Slot and Hughes, and that's what I think.
Yeah, no, one point, Sheik, and I think that's a very good question that you asked, Jins, like how will history view Slot essentially, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now? He's obviously a Premier League winning coach, no doubt about that. But I think a lot of Slot's achievements will be viewed through the lens of what happens in the next 2 seasons with the new coach.
Yeah.
If in the next 2 seasons, and I say 2 seasons because 1 season is not enough to give a coach like so next 2 seasons, it will tell like whether Slot was actually right, he did what he could with whatever was given to him, or it was actually his point in not being able to, make the team more enthusiastic and play on the field and all those things. So I think the next 2 years are crucial to his legacy, essentially, to ensure like how things were done.
Yeah, Sheik, one thing I think I'm thinking, right? What Slot made a mistake. How kind of a manager are you? When everything went smooth, you can be, sailing smooth with it. You're not getting any challenges. You're not getting back-to-back loss or anything. Because in Slot's career, he never lost back-to-back games till last season. Even last season, I don't think he lost it. But this season, when he was getting like more and more challenges, he tried to do some tweak here and there. But that was not improving the performance, right? So when he was put into a pressure where we are like losing like back to back games, then he's like winning one game, and then we thought, okay, from here we are going to start the build up. No, the next game it was going worse than like 2 games back. So the problem with Slot I have seen is like he's not able to forget the result, but the performance with what we have. That's a good decent team, but the week in week out performance that was really bad.
Yeah, it
So
was insipid. Yeah.
yeah, he was not unable to motivate the players. The Anfield felt like a dead crow, and there was nothing, no enjoyment. Like even last few games, even we are like, okay, oh, again we have to watch it. That was the case. We never felt like okay anything different, because we know the result, right? We know the
Yeah.
performance, we know the result. So yeah.
Correct. Yeah, the performance became very insipid. I think, like you said, there was no one positive thing, no redeeming thing Slot could hang on to this season. So yeah, thank you, Slot, for your time at Liverpool, and thanks for number 20. And we wish you luck, good luck, and best wishes for your future.
He's apparently
So-
going to my second favorite club, AC Milan.
Yeah. There you go, Jerry. You might still be
Yeah.
seeing a lot of Slot.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So the replacement for Slot right now, the heavy favorite, I think Fabrizio almost said he already said here we go on Andoni Iraola. So it looks like he's going to be the next head coach for Liverpool. So he's again another Basque manager from the Basque country of Spain. His attractive, aggressive style. He played under Bielsa in what was that club? Athletic Bilbao. And then he coached Rayo Vallecano and achieved promotion with them in 2021. Again, deploying an attractive high press style. And then he was appointed by Richard Hughes in 2023 at Bournemouth. At that time, it was a controversial appointment because Gary O'Neill was doing, I won't say a great job, but a decent job keeping a club of Bournemouth at the 10th or around mid-table. And then he was replaced by Andoni Iraola. At that time, it was questioned like why Iraola was appointed in spite of Gary O'Neill doing a good job at Bournemouth. And he started badly. I think he lost around 9-0 to Liverpool in the second game in that season. But again, from that point of time, his tactics took Premier League by storm. And Bournemouth now take 15.2 shots per game. That is third in the Premier League. So that is like a huge transformation. So when asked in one of his interviews, he said, we have to prepare positional pattern. We cannot just prioritize them. If you see that you don't have a teammate ahead, he said, forget about the pattern. Just drive the ball and try to force things to happen. I want that player on the ball to attack first. So that's basically his philosophy. So initial thoughts on Iraola being the favorite to be appointed the coach, Jins.
I think you just said what is the difference between Slot and Iraola. And when Iraola has a ball, and the player, he has to go as long as possible to the opponent penalty box, and that is called the direct football, and that is what Slot is missing in his way. So yeah. So coming back to Iraola, I like his football. I like his the games and tactics and everything. I love it. I love how attacking they are. They're not scared of any big teams. They're not scared of anything. We don't see a slow build up. We don't see trying to, the school of Guardiola Pep's school, right? Like the possession based. I don't see. Once you have the ball.
So you have a Bielsa school and a Cruyff school. So he's from the Bielsa school of thought.
Yeah. So so that is good. So once we got him, I'm sure we are going to play amazing game. I'm sure we will be like front foot attacking game where we are entertained. We are always like front foot and everything. But if you ask me personally, I don't think this appointment is a long-term solution. I see this appointment as a short-term solution because right now Jurgen Klopp take us from like doubters to believers, and Slot take us back from believers to doubters. Now we are in like with I won't say even doubters. We are in that state. So I think they are looking for some manager who comes and do some kind of within 2 years some kind of belief in the team where we started known as the Liverpool way of playing.
Right.
And with Iraola, like a good manager, amazing result, everything, but he cannot be a title challenging or title winning team. He cannot take Liverpool to a Premier League title because these kind of games wins you the exact game, but it will not win you championship. Because when you're into championship and when you're going for any league game, let's take an example of Arsenal. Last 7-8 games, they were winning 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 game. That makes you Premier League champions. You need to know how to control the game. With Iraola, I don't see. Either it could be 5-4 or it could be 3-4, all the combination of high scoring games. And I am gonna very rarely we will see 1-0 where we score and we are going to control. So my biggest concern with Iraola is like, I don't know, he can control the games
Okay.
when he's going in our favor, right? I don't think he is gonna control the games and get us the result.
Okay.
That is one
Yeah.
major factor. And also one more thing, he never played a Champions League, a Premier League and Champions League. So these kind of games, when you go to a away place, say like Atletico Madrid, and then you come and go to Everton away, these are all the tough fixtures.
Right.
And then the next one, you cannot invite Chelsea on another Wednesday. So
Right.
these games, when these games comes, how Iraola handles, because he never handles such a high octane games or high profile clubs before. So
Okay.
these are my thoughts. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a risk. It is a gamble from the team. Like you said, he has not won anything yet. But one good thing is like he knows the Premier League. He has managed in the Premier League for 3 years now. So just to make an counter argument to what you just said, Vincent Company managed Burnley and he got relegated with them, and Luis Enrique managed Celta Vigo and he only got 37 points in his first season with them. So they all moved on to big clubs and produced results.
But
And also
Company won the championship with Leicester, right?
with Burnley.
Burnley with 100
Yeah,
points.
So that's
yeah.
fine. Like championship is like a different gravy. But what I'm saying is like when Klopp came, like it was very similar to Iraola. Klopp was like full throttle, like 100 miles per hour every game. That's how we played in his first season. In the first game against the Spurs, we kind of visibly saw how the team was playing. And in a second season, he still continued to play that way until team said, okay, if we are going to do pressing, we are going to sit back. You cannot press us now, and then you have to break us down. So that's when like Klopp adopted, and from 2018-19 it became controlled chaos, and then from there it kind of took off. So JD, I'll just put this point to you. Do you see Iraola adapting his tactics? We'll discuss about how he sets up his team, how Bournemouth sets up about in a bit. JD, I want to get your thoughts. Like, can Iraola adapt his tactics like Klopp did for a big club who's playing in Champions League and in the Premier League, like Liverpool?
He should be able to. So going back,
It's a short answer.
No. I'll give the explanation. Like when Klopp first came, his high intensity 100 mile per hour style and everything, all those things. One of the reasons he or any coach would have done that, who subscribed to that school of thought, like high intensity, is because of what squad talent he has at his disposal. If your defensive talent, if your CDM talent is not, or even your left back and right back situation is not very strong, then you have no option but to go on an all-out attack, because that height or other flaws. You keep the ball away from the defense as much as possible. They don't need to soak up the pressure and all those kind of things. But when you have more, how do I put this? A defensive setup, which is a bit more bar raising, if it can handle pressure, soak up the pressure, and all those kind of things, then you can achieve to see some form of control, because then okay, my defense will hold up and everything. I think that is one of the reasons. And Klopp, I think, did that because once Van Dijk came in and set the defense and everything, settled, Alisson came in, then there was no need to do all those basketball type games, keep running, because you need to preserve the players as well. Like, you cannot play 3 games every week in and week out by doing that every time. Players will get injured, people like their legs will give away after some time, so that has to be done. Now coming back to Iraola, I think he can do that. Just by looking at what Bournemouth has been doing, and I was looking at some of his press conferences after it was. I'll be honest, I've never listened to his press conferences before, but after it was not announced, I guess, but all the rumors happening, I thought, let me go back and see what is it. For all intents and purposes, he seems like a bit
right.
passionate
So
person for what he's
even though
doing.
he is from Bielsa's school of coaching, I think he also was part of the Spain's team from 2008 till 2012 when they went to Euros and the World Cups, when Luis Aragonés and Vicente Del Bosque
Correct.
were playing that kind of a tiki-taka football. Basically, he is from that school as well. So hopefully he can mix the both. I think, like you said, at Bournemouth, he might not have the players to play that tiki-taka things. Probably at Liverpool, like he could, marry both and then play both height. I mean, control the chaos and then, also have better game management. So hopefully,
like as an example,
that's the
Klopp,
hope.
I still believe, like, the way Klopp started the first 2 seasons, I guess, it is nearly impossible to win a Premier League or a Champions League playing that. You cannot simply sustain that. You have to control at some level. You have to control, and I think Klopp did that. Iraola was able to do that as well. I mean, like, pros and cons in life.
Okay. So we'll just see how Iraola plays and see if he can replicate that in Liverpool. So basically, this is how they set
Sheik
up.
Tactical analysis, right? Professor Sheik's tactical analysis.
Yes. I should take off my pen as well. I keep following along.
All right. So this is from their City games. We'll see how it goes. Like this is this is the general pattern of play. Let's start with two things. Let's do two things today. One is build up. The other is the other thing is like counter pressing. We'll start with counter pressing. So when the opponents have the ball, right? So basically, what Ivan Nilsson does is like he kind of arcs his run so that he'll come here and then forces the goalkeeper to play to his center back. So when Ivan Nilsson does this trigger, others, Groupie and his wingers, they go in here. They go in here, and then Adams sits here, and the right back goes to this winger. And then, like, center back pushes here, and Senesi pushes here. And then Tavernier goes and stands here. And then, like, Truffert goes there. So, what they do is, like, they kind of set a trap here. So, basically, you see, Ivan Nilsson stands here so that Gay cannot pass the ball back to Donnarumma. So, he is forced to place.
Mhm.
So yeah, when Evan Nilsson goes here, like these guys, yeah. So he basically, when the ball is with the center back, when they build up from the back, so he kind of forces them to play in a certain areas, either here or here. So what they basically do is they compress the pitch. So when you draw a line here, first they keep the ball over there and try to press like crazy. So they are, when City, he passes the ball here, this guy's on him, this guy's on him, he has no options anywhere. So they go aggressively on man to man. And then like every time the ball goes wider, all these players kind of move so that the space is compressed, and then only they can play through here, So and then like they kind of compress the pitch. So everybody moves in, and then like here, then they can suddenly win the ball and they create a pressing action and win the ball. And then like it ball goes here and Evan Nelson goes here, and then he kinds of pass the ball and then they score the goal. So this is basically how he sets up. So you can see this in action here. This is a City game. So here, when the ball is here, like you could see Ivan Nilsson is kind of moving here. You could see Ivan Nilsson here so that the ball won't come back. So you can basically see Tavernier here, the Groupie here, Semenyo here, and then Alex Scott, and then Tyler Adams and Truffert all like kind of compress the space. So if you see, like everybody is man to man. And then this is how they win the ball, and this led to them scoring goals. They won the ball here, passed to Semenyo, and then he passed to Ivan Nilsson, and then they scored the goal. And the same thing here. This is from their goal kick. The ball passes here. Ivan Nilsson kind of comes around and then make sure that ball does not come back here. And then like everybody is man to man. So this is what they aggressively do. So teams cannot live with this. So to live with that, City had to go and bring back Foden to deal with this. Even after bringing back Foden, you could see all are man to man, and then like Milos Kerkez is already on Foden trying to pounce. So yeah, so this is in the Manchester City game last season, and this was also the same thing they did against Arsenal. So again, Ivan Nelson, if you see, he kind of goes around and then cuts the pitch on this side and then compresses everybody to that side. And every time like the ball goes here, you could see all of them like ready to pounce. Like this is the area they are trying to target. So basically, he has cut the pitch into half like this, and then like everybody is compressing that way. So and then this is how they win it. And like also in the same thing in the midfield as well, right? They are forcing Ake to come inside and trying to pass the ball. Like he has no options here, so everybody is man marked. Like basically you have a compact space, and then that's where they try to make the person pass and then win the ball, and then like Jins said, like you just take the ball and run and then directly attack. So this is another instance, like you could see here, right? Like they kind of compress the whole field. This is a perfect example. So all of them are here, like everybody is pressing here, like he has no option to pass, and when he pass here, like everybody is pouncing on it. So this is Iraola's counter pressing style. So basically he cuts the pitches into half vertically and then like forces the ball to one side, and they aggressively press man to man. And during build up, what they do is like their main weapon is actually Senesi. So this is the Spurs game from this season when they played away. So when Sanasi has the ball, he doesn't stop there, and then he takes the ball in front and then moves in. And what he does is like he kind of plays the ball into the channel when Semenyo is running. Even though he's not winning the ball, what they do is like again they compress the field here, and all the players in Bournemouth know the Sanasi is going to pass the ball here. So and basically they compress on here so that they could win the second ball. So the same thing happened here. Even Udo, I think it's Jetspans, he heads the ball and it kind of falls to Ivan Nilsson, and Ivan Nilsson, the first start for him is to pass the ball against to Semenyo, and then from there they build up and then they score the goals. So basically, again, like I said, like they kind of split the pitch, and then even during attack or defense, they try to force the ball into one area of it, and then like they aggressively converge on it, and then they create the opportunities for this. So this is how Bournemouth play, and this if we can replicate with Liverpool, it will be fun to analyze and see how we can get the current squad playing like this. I believe he has players to achieve this, and I'd like to know the thoughts, like if anything else like me I missed or any argument or anything to this.
one thing is, like, if Iraola joins, I think the general fitness of the squad should go up. Because to play this kind of a style, you need to be fit. If you're going to do it day in, day out, you cannot like half-ass it and expect.
Yeah. So yeah, one thing I also kind of, this is the style of play comparison between Liverpool and Bournemouth in the Premier League. So you could see like the numbers are like pretty similar to us. The only two things is here and here. Okay. So the number of tackles they put in is like far higher than what we do. And the possession one in the final third is like higher than us. So what I'm thinking is like with this, like he's kind of he's going to come in and manage a similar club to Bournemouth. So again, like it depends on the training and things like that. Like if he wants to achieve those things, but I believe he already has players. Like adding one or two here and there should enable our squad to play like how he does. So this is one interesting thing I was looking at between their midfielders and our midfielders. Like if Gravenberch can perform the role of Alex Scott and things like that. So I compared their two. If you see, right, so they are kind of almost identical. And in fact, Gravenberch is like more talented than Alex Scott.
I think the main issue with Gravenberch is the long passes. What is a long pass
Yeah.
attempt?
Yeah, right. So that like that is the thing here. So that could be improved. I feel like if Van Dijk is going to play, Van Dijk is going to take care of long passes and things like that. But I believe like other things, Gravenberch like excels well, and with some training and instruction, I think he can perform that role. The only thing I'm concerned about is like who is going to perform the role of Tyler Adams. So Tyler Adams does.
My question, exact question. So
yeah.
first, the question is, what kind of CDM he needs?
Right.
Because we don't have a CDM. So what kind
So
of
that's where
CDM?
I'm coming to, right? So, like I said, like Alex Scott and Ryan Gravenberch, like the Scott is Iraola's midfield horse at, in Bournemouth. So his dual winning percentage is 78, right? He's a physical carrier. Again, he's a press trigger as well, right? So Gravenberch, if you see, like he matches in duels, pressing, elite passes, and all those things. He's better than Scott. So I think with some training, he could do that. The Tyler Adams, right? This is where it is interesting because Adams is the silent foundation. Like he's in the 90th percentile for position one. He is relentless in defensive work, allows other two midfielders to be aggressive and creative, right? He's not very flashy and he doesn't need to be because Iraola's progression comes through the centre backs. Like I said, his job is purely to win the ball and be a defensive lid on a system that plays with enormous positional risk. So, like I said, like there is an enormous positional risk Iraola is taking to achieve his press. So neither McAllister nor Curtis Jones fit this. Okay, so McAllister's position winning numbers have collapsed. Like he is dropped to the second percentile this season. He's lost physical intensity, and Jones is like he does not have any defensive attributes like Adams has. Probably is good in position, good on the ball. He is elite in progressive passes, but he is very poor defensively. Like he's on the 27th percentile for possession one. So you cannot play Jones like Tyler Adams. So that's where the transfer market should be used, and a player like Tyler Adams should be brought in. Two of the things that have been constantly linked with us are Sangare and Kamara. Sangare from Monaco and Kamara from Lens. So those two players, like if you compare their stats with Tyler Adams, they do exactly the same work Tyler Adams does, and in fact much better. And also one other thing which I think we should be looking at those two is because I saw their games against PSG in League One, and Vitinha struggled against both Kamara and Sangare. And I believe if we are going to think of facing PSG in the Champions League, we should face them with them in the midfield.
Again, PSG.
Can we remove PSG from CL?
Looks like they're going to dominate. So any team has to, play PSG at some point of the time. So I think those two midfielders will solve a lot of issues for us. I mean, yeah, that's what I think.
Until you're obsessed with PSG, I'm fine. Once you
No,
start,
like he's not
so,
like Slot.
so yeah. So Sheik, I think
Basically,
we
it
lost.
goes back to
We lost Fabinho 4 years ago, right? I think Fabinho moved 4 years ago, and this 4 years, I think we almost completed Caicedo, we completed Lavia, but a team like Liverpool, we don't have a solid CDM. As you said, we don't want anyone flashy. Like Gravenberch last season, it works, but this season that did not work out. McAllister last season of Klopp worked bit, but this season was like a mistake. So I don't care like which other positions we are getting it, but we need a proper CDM whose basic principle is to support the defense when you are getting counter pressed, right? Counter attacked, be there to press it. That's the main thing. And Sheikh, the other question, how he does on the wingers, because there are two kind of wingers, right? All like the Bournemouth wingers, do they help in defense? What is the defensive contribution of two wingers?
Yeah, they do, right? If you let's analyze the case of Semenyo, right? So again, like he likes hybrid players who's like both right winger and a shadow striker. He starts up wide but takes up the striker position, enabling him to be impossible to track the position. He needs positional flexibility on his wingers. So again, I think he's going to play high intensity, and one of the winners in our squad is going to be Milos Kerkez. Like he lets the fullbacks bomb forward and go to the byline all the time. I think he will be unleashed. So, and the job of a winger in Iraola's system is like to act as both winger and a shadow striker, but also help in the press, like I said, right? So it's going to be a high line. So he has to track back, obviously, but his main job will be to help in pressing action and set the traps, and then like chase all those ball carriers so that they all fell into the correct trap. So it's like the team has to work together to make this system work. And I think he's a good coach, and he can put his imprint on the team fast, because like if he's anything close to Jurgen Klopp, I think the base is already there. I think Sobosli is a pressing monster. Milos Kerkez is a pressing monster. If you
Florian Wirtz.
if you unleash them, yeah, Florian Wirtz presses as well. And I also believe Isak can press as well, like the way he can play the role of Ivan Nelson. And I think with the pressing actions, like it's like generally like Klopp, right? You create chances. He said like when Klopp was asked like why you are not playing with a number 10, he said my pressing is my number 10. So when you press that with a high intensity, I think Isak is going to get like a lot of chances, first time chances to finish it, and I think Isak will excel at that.
But that does leave a problem about Ekitike. We spent a significant amount of money.
Yeah, Ekitike, I think I had him as losers in Iraola's system. So I don't know how Ekitike is going to fit in. Like his injury is not helping. But Ekitike is someone like I think he's not going to fit the system unless like he works with and then like trains himself properly. So it depends on him. Like at this point, like whatever skill set Ekitike has does not fit into this current system. And the same with McAllister and Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones.
And interestingly, I think most of us had, not me, like at least Jins, you and Vivek had him as well. I think having Iraola kind of changes that. I think Frimpong will be more effective in this system, and we'll see like how it goes. But I believe Frimpong will enjoy this system more than Slots, because he at least have a defined role in this system.
It
But,
also
but there was one more reason why Slot was not using Frimpong as right back, because I think a couple of games he tried and the opponent winger was bypassing him easily.
Yeah.
How does that is the
So-
Frimpong like his quality? He's not a good right back. So I still think even with Iraola, I like for attack it's fine. Yeah, he can use his pace, and current now he will have his proper CDM to shield the defense. But when it
Right.
comes to one-on-one, unless Frimpong improve that badly,
Right.
I still don't see Frimpong is getting into like a starting 11.
Yeah, so I think Van Dijk can perform the role of Senesi, but I don't know
Or else
but-
gets NC itself. He's free, right?
Yeah, so or else gets Hennessy. I think the problem I have with Van Dijk currently is like at 34, is he ready to do another gegenpressing heavy metal type football he had with Klopp? Like he would have been thinking, okay, I'm done with this. Like 34, I can kind of coast through my career. But now I don't know if he'll be ready for another high intensity thing. But I think he has the skill set. I think he's a very underrated passer, and he's passing between the lines, and long passes will fit in well with Iraola's system. But it will depend on Van Dijk's appetite. Like, can he go another season with high intensity and things like that? And I think Jeremy Jacket and Leone will perfectly fit into Iraola's system. And I think we need one more centre back in the profile of Van Hecke or Schlotterbeck, who can bring the ball out of defense. So I think Van Hecke is gettable. So
How
we'll
old is
see.
he?
Like
there is one point
I think it's
to
28 or something.
Iraola's system, that is, and we kind of saw that earlier with these heavy pressing team. You need a solid bench because people will get injured, people will get tired.
Right.
You are competing on, let's say, minimum two fronts, that is Premier League and Champions League. Leave alone the cup championships and everything. Then you need a proper bench squad. You need proper players like I don't know, Milner, Shaqiri, these kind of players, people who can
Yeah, of
actually
course.
play
Yeah.
parts. So our
So
current
I
squad
think
doesn't have
he will promote Ioni, and he needs to be a proper. At least he should start like 15, 16 matches, and we need to sign at least two. If Curtis Jones is leaving, then we need to sign two midfielders. And like I said, we need to replace Salah, and we need one more to cover for Ekitike and Rio and Gakpo. So we at least need 5 players this window, at least.
Yeah, yeah. Right
So
back
what are the
situation is the most.
position? What are the position you said, Sheik? One center back,
One center back
CDM.
in the profile of Van Hake or a starter back. And
Okay.
we need one CDM in the profile of Tyler Adams, like either Sangare or Kamara, and or both. And we need to replace Salah, right? I think today I heard Diomande is preferring PSG, so I don't think we are getting Diomande now. And that means Barcola might become available because like they have so many players, and Barcola has no chance of getting in. So we'll see if we can get Barcola, it'll be good. And we need one more winger as well who can play on the left side. I mean, Rio should develop, but we cannot trust him as our first choice to go into the season.
I'm more worried about the right back situation than our situation up front. I'm more worried
Yeah,
about.
I think we need right back as well. You are right. I think Bradley is not a serious option anymore because of his injury history, and now he's suffering a long-term knee injury as well. I don't know how fit he is going to be when he comes back. And Frimpong, I don't know if he is good, but again, we need to see.
He can't be a serious right back. He will
Serious right
never.
back. Yeah, we need one
Yeah.
right back. Correct. And I said Pedro Porro in large systems. I think he's not an option anymore in this system. So he needs someone who
So
can be.
that's one thing, right, Jake? Like the entire last season, we were talking about slots, where what is slots, weakness, and what kind of profiles we needed, and we were thinking about Pedro Porro and Wharton, right? Since Liverpool take this decision of sacking Slot, now the entire plan, what they had like 1 year planning of what profiles we needed, that will be shifted, completely
Yeah.
shifted, right?
Not completely, but yeah, a little bit. I think they will have enough backup players to play a high pressing style. So, like I said, the build up, right? I am entirely not sure how Iraola will adapt this Liverpool team in case of low blocks. Like I'm going to talk like slot now. So,
Yeah, that's why like
it's
against Bournemouth, none of the teams go low blocks.
correct.
But with
PSG and
Liverpool,
low block within a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there is this high intensity counter pressing will work against City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and those kind of teams. But once we start facing teams like Fulham or those Crystal Palace kind of teams, they will start the game sitting back. So your high pressing cannot work over there. Like they're going to say, okay, what are you going to do? We are going to sit in the low block. What are you going to high presses, come presses? What you will not get anything, right? So his build up play largely lies on Senesi finding wingers and then getting the second ball. So basically, Senesi kind of puts the ball into a channel, and all the front players sees this as a trigger, and then they compress on that and wins the second ball, and then they create the chance. So that is a solution and not the solution. But he needs to find other patterns of play, like how he said like he liked Spain's 2010 team with Villa and Torres, right? He needs to. It will be interesting to see how he develops that kind of build-up play and what he expects from the teams. That's an interesting thing to look out for when he comes in, because like he's not going to face teams that play against Bournemouth. He's going to face a team that plays Liverpool, and they know how Liverpool plays, and then and when teams come to Anfield, they're not going to go attack and give spaces for them to put the ball and run onto it.
You know what can help? A right back who is not being supported by the manager, who might be looking for a change of team and who knows
Trent.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Someone like that might help.
Trent
let's bring back the Spanish Causer.
No, I mean, I'm laughing, but I think with words there and with Kirkes and Sobosli being the pressing monsters there, and Trent being more mature and everything, he could be a good asset in unlocking and low blocking team. Could.
Yeah, that's a thing, right? Again, Trent needs to have the appetite of pressing, right? Like that's why he's like suffering a lot of injuries right now. So again, he needs someone who can press, like kind of like Jet Spence, Malo Gusto, and those kind of profile, not Trent's profile or Frimpong's profile. Like he wants something who can, like his right back at Bournemouth is who like the
Steve Cook.
Jimenez and Cook, right? Yeah, they kind of go, face, put your face behind you. That kind of a right back. I don't think Trent can do that.
No.
But Sheikh, one more thing. Like even this season, I think Bournemouth, they were like winless in 2.5 months.
Right.
They were like continuously losing, and there was a lot of Chelsea fans because Iraola was like they're like I think they were looking into and they're saying that no, he's not the guy because they were like winless like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
2.5 months winless in Bournemouth works, not in
Not
Liverpool.
at Liverpool. Yeah, that's true.
So like if he's taking time, say like we lost first 6 games, that will get him into like a lot of pressure. So how is he going to handle this, and how quickly he's going to change it, and the transfers? When I look into our team, right, I feel like last season was a mistake with all the transfers.
No, I
Even
think
we forget about Slot. Any manager comes, Klopp or Pep, right? Any like a average manager comes, they will find it really difficult to find a balance.
Yeah, the ingredients are wrong. The squad was unbalanced. I wouldn't say the players we signed were bad, but the players we let go kind of affected the balance of the team, right? So that's a problem.
Sheik, one more thing. Iraola wants like a physical monsters at the midfield. All his players, they goes into tackles. They are not scared. They will go press and high. And his players, more than technical, he wants a physical players. And what Liverpool today, we have all the technical players who can do all the silky kind
Yeah,
of
that's
passes,
this one.
not the physical ones.
no. I think you need a blend of both. You either one will either make you, I don't know, Burnley trying to avoid relegation, or I don't know, the other end of the spectrum, whatever it is, play beautifully, then lose 5-0 and come back home. Whatever that team looks like. You need a blend of both. You cannot. It is like Man City or even like peak Barcelona, for all its beautiful moves and everything, they still had a Carlos Puyol and Sergio Busquets who used to like really go in for challenges and everything. You can't always rely on, not rely, I should say. You cannot be one
And Messi.
at the top
See,
level.
the Sheik's stats, right? That shows exactly the problem for this current Liverpool. I think we put like around 400 tackles when a team like Bournemouth has 600 tackles. That means you're not winning the ball like high up in the opponent's field. So that
Yeah.
it's like Slot's major issue. We all know like his press and out of possession play. And but it will be interesting to see what Iraola will be doing.
Right. I think we have Sobosli and Groundbug who could kind of replicate what he's trying to do. But McAllister and Curtis Jones can't, and that's where like he has to go into the transfer market and get those players. Yeah, I mean he has a tough time to get this team back. And like we all said, like it is a gamble. It'll be interesting to see how he is supported in the transfer market. Like I said, we at least need five players this season because the squad was already unbalanced, and we cannot blame the chef if the ingredients are wrong. So yeah.
Jins, to your point, like when you said like he cannot go in Liverpool 2 months winless and everything, I think a lot of the discussion will come from seeing the summer transfer window, what happens over that, plus the first 2 games. I think the first 2 games, first 2 Premier League games, not some where you're playing in the US or those friendlies, not those, will give an idea of what he's trying to be all about. I think people will be patient, everybody will be patient if they see something positive, but if it's the same old thing and then I think the leash will be much shorter, much shorter. In that case.
Yeah, but couple of things what I can be sure of is he will bring someone from the academy. He will give them chance. The other thing, like Bournemouth has around 8 or 9 players injured, first team players. He still come and pick up, and he was getting draws and points with what he has it. So for him to get the players, because he is a person who has some kind of identity, right? This is my identity. And whoever comes and replaces my number 6, I want my number 6 to play like this.
Exactly like this.
I will not change my strategy and my tactics based on what is my number 6. No, I want my number 6 to change this. So that is something that having a proper identity of a manager, how he sets up the team to play. I think that is two things I'm looking forward for him, how he's handling the injuries and setbacks.
So one thing you should remember is like this season he lost Zabarny, he lost Milos, and he lost Dean Heisen.
Yeah,
he lost 3 of his back four, and he still improved on the position this season. So I think that's where his talent lies. Like you said, like bringing in academy players, like bringing in players who are not at the top of their game, and developing players. So that's where that kind of a thing appeals to Hughes and Edwards and to FSG. And one thing I'm certain is like Liverpool will play 100 miles per hour next season, and we'll have fun score lines, and hopefully we will not be bored like past season.
One of my favorite games, Norwich against Liverpool.
Yeah, hopefully our blood pressure and stress levels are
but the thing is, see, blood pressure and stress levels going up is with those kind of games is probably better than dull insipid games. You're just staring at the screen.
Right? yeah, same thing, right? This season, most of the games, we are not angry, we are not mad. It's just sad. We are just sad.
Yeah.
So that is worse than having high blood pressure of like
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, but
So, any parting thoughts on Iraola?
fun times ahead. Fun times.
100 miles per hour football.
No, this summer transfer, it's going to be very crucial for both Hughes and Iraola.
And-
I hope that they start looking into it because their entire structure might have changed. The players, what they want, might have changed. And we at least needs to build a team that will support Iraola. So everything can be like determined here. Like how Slot came with just Chiesa, right? That is not going to work out this time.
Yeah,
because
of course
our
not.
team is
Because the
team
squad is already unbalanced.
Yeah, right.
But unbalanced. But I think we do have a very nice core that has developed. But we don't have the supporting structure around it. You cannot just play with the core. You need the supporting cast and everything.
Okay, JD question. Tell me the core.
Sobosli. I think. See,
Alisson, Van Dijk, Sobosli, and either
Alisson and Van Dijk, I'll not name them because I don't know how long they're going to stay. So I'm talking about.
At least for the next season, they will be the spine. Alisson is staying, and they are not letting.
Alisson is staying, but if there is like 65 games, I'm sure like he's injured like 30 games.
Correct.
So he's there for only 35 games.
No.
So
I mean,
don't
that's fine.
consider him
Alisson,
as
yeah.
a-
So my point is Sobosli. Like, let's say outfield player. Sobosli is there. What is there?
What is it?
I'm a firm believer in words. Like I think
Yeah.
Isak is a very good player. Isak, think in Iraola's system might succeed. So Isak is there. Karkes is there. I think Karkes is a good player. Like he showed us like how he improved and all this even in this thing. So there are 4 outfield players already. So to build a nucleus, you need 5 or 6 players at max. Right? So 4 we already have. No.
So you're saying
And
we
Van
need,
Dijk and Alisson, I would add to it. Like
Van
if you
Dijk,
build
yeah.
the team, if you build a team around this, and I think what Iraola does well is like he removes the fear from players. He doesn't. So basically, all players go 100 miles per hour. I think Jacket and Leone will enjoy playing under him, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure if Vivek were here, he would name Gakpo in one of the nucleus players. But sadly, I did not name him.
yeah. I don't think Gakpo can survive in Iraola system.
Nah.
We'll see. Yeah. I don't think so, but we'll see.
You know, people can surprise you.
So Sheik,
Interesting times. Yeah.
two players. If you can bring from Bournemouth with Iraola, who will that be?
I think one is obvious, like Sanasi is the obvious one. So I think we don't have that kind of. Van Dijk is there, but I don't think he is going to play. He's going to see his contract out next season and he will move on. So we need a cover for him. So Sanasi could be that player. And another player that interests me is Ryan. So we don't have that kind of a player in our team. So Ryan and Sanasi are the 2 players that would interest me because Ryan stepped up and he filled the shoes of Semenyo when he left. So yeah,
that is kind of the transfer I want Liverpool to do. 19-year-old Brazilian. When Semenyo went for 65 million, they went and just bought someone from like a 19-year like a Brazilian. And have you seen the directness in him?
Right. So that again comes from the coach, right? So you can coach that in. So that's what I'm saying,
But
right? So
it's not just the coach, right? Not just the coach. The scouting team, they has to do their duty to tell them, okay, we have a player like this.
No, hang on. Like let's talk about Semenyo, right? Before Bournemouth, he used to play for like League 2 teams and things like that. Nobody knew like a guy from Bristol City, played for Bristol City, is going to come and rip up the Premier League like this, right? So how Semenyo became the Semenyo we know is because of Iraola's coaching and the way he unleashed him onto the Premier League. The same thing he did for Ryan as well. So as long as the player has some kind of profile for a winger, Iraola can mold him according to the needs of the team. Your form depends on how your team plays, and I think Ryan and Semenyo benefited from the system which Iraola implemented. So that's what I think. I mean, it's more than scouting, right? So you might, if you put Ryan in Liverpool setup, right, the pressure of him playing for Liverpool is like huge. You know, you need to consider all those mentality and things like that. You cannot say a player who is playing good for Bournemouth, if you put him in a Liverpool or a Man United shirt, he's going to continue playing the same way because the pressure is different, the expectation is different, and the way team plays is different and things like that. So all those things, all those instruction comes from the coach. The fear the player has to be removed by the coach. So once your coach unleashes you, then you start to performing to the system and the system works. So that's where the challenge is for Iraola to see how he can mold the current players to this system.
Yeah, agree. And also I would like to see he uses the bench properly. So
Correct.
Slot always use Chiesa.
Shallow pool of players. Yes.
Yeah, he's not good enough. Chiesa is not just good enough. So instead of taking one non-homegrown quota, I at least want to keep a couple of kids there who could develop them into something, right?
Correct.
So the unused players, not needed players, we need to get rid of them.
Correct.
You know, the other person I think might be a shadow success under Iraola, Endo. He might become a shadow success under.
He could be a backup for Tyler Adams, and he should not be just the Tyler Adams. I hope. If you go to see him thinking he could be the CDM, no.
Another interesting tidbit is like only player who was over 30 in Bournemouth is Ryan Christie. Okay, everybody else is like either 25 or under. So that's another thing. Another thing to consider. So he doesn't entertain players who doesn't run. So he'll kind of kick everybody. He will, sideline them if they are not running properly. So I think Iraola is going to do that, and it'll be. I am excited to see what he can do, but I am like a little bit on the fence. And like I said before, it's a gamble, and I hope it works out. Like he's a Liverpool manager, I'm going to be fully supporting him, and excited, excited to see what he brings.
Hot take.
Go
Do you
for it.
think Van Dijk will be sold this summer?
I don't think he'll be sold. He'll see out his contract next year. I think he'll leave next year.
We have a trend now. People leave for free.
I mean, he's 34. Like, how much you can get for him? Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
that's-
anybody's going to pay more than
So,
5 or 5
Where is
million.
Konate going? Liverpool.
No, I think he's most likely will go to PSG. That's the only team that can take him at this point.
Marquinhos. Replacement for
Hmm.
Marquinhos.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, I think this is something that we need to stop. If Sobosli is not renewing, kill him next season. I don't
Yeah.
care how big of a player he is.
I think that's another thing. I think Hughes wants to now take control of the wage structure as well. And I think. We'll
Okay,
see.
I agree. Question: why did he give Gravenberch 50k and Gakpo 250k? Start of the
Right.
season.
I think
These two happens.
that's due to which flat he wants to back them or something like that. But I think I don't believe it's like he's getting 280 flat. Like it all depends on the performance and bonuses and things like that. So we'll see. I don't think Gakpo would have got all his 250 because the number of goals he scored did not match anything. And you have trophy bonuses and Champions League goals and things like that. So I don't, even though on paper it says 250, I don't think they achieved any of their things.
So basically, we had a good wage structure.
Mm.
Salah was around 350 and Van Dijk 220. Remaining everybody, I think Trent was 200, and everybody, even I think Luis Diaz was 70 or 80. Had a good wage structure, and I don't know why we gave Salah like a 430. It's fine, but why did we give Van Dijk such one and Gakpo?
I think if we get a decent offer for Gakpo, we'll sell him. I think Gravenberg is interesting. We'll see. Like I don't know why they gave that money, unless Iraola thinks like what I think he is. He can do the job of Alex Scott. Then I think he'll also be sidelined. We'll see.
Give me Robertson and Salah kind of transfers. 10 million, 8 million, 30 million.
That's difficult this period because
This time,
clubs
right?
kind of woke up to what Liverpool were doing. I
They
think we
cannot
could
cut anymore.
raid West Ham for their
Fernandes.
and their left back.
Coyote is in Brentford.
Brentford, like who's that guy then?
No, Coyote is a right back in Brentford. I think we are interested on him. Who is West Ham? Only this player, only Fernandes.
He's the left back. He led the season for assist from left back. I'll ping you in the chat like when I remember it. Yeah, Fernandes is interesting too, and if possible, get Bowen as well as a backup.
Yeah, I want Edwards and Hughes to be the old Edwards. The data geek.
Cool. All right. That's a good stopping point. Again, thanks for joining us in this episode. Please like and subscribe our content. It'll give us great encouragement, and then do comment on what you'd like to see more of. And until we see you next week in another episode, signing off.